Using this type of equipment on a high bank like this saves quite a bit of time and energy. If you're pushing off the top of it with a bulldozer or something like that, you have a very limited area that you can push the material. It just has to fall down the face. If it's an extremely high bank, you have the danger of running the machine over the edge of the bank. If it's not particularly steep, but you need to run a dozer down the face of it, it takes a tremendous amount of time to walk it back up over and around to the top again. With these, in just a matter of minutes, we can run it to the top of the hill and pull down a tremendous amount of material. You can see again the bucket filled at the base of the hill and then walked over the high spot that we have. Digging out of a high bank with this type of equipment also eliminates the need to have personnel in a dangerous area. There's nothing that has to get close to or in an area that might slough or cave in on personnel or equipment. It's a much safer way to operate for this type of situation. Again, we'll see as the bucket comes up onto the pile, the operator holds the tension on that haul back, which is there's a block on the back of the two straps in the back of the bucket. The bucket will begin to empty. When it loses the weight, it springs off the pile. Right down the center is our Skyline, which is what carries the bucket back and forth. You can have a very good view of the haul back bucket block on the back of the bucket. You can see as it pulls down, the bucket's filling into the bottom. As it enters the water, because it's full, there's very little water coming out of the holes in the bucket. This material, as it fills the bucket, actually presses water out of the holes, and you end up with a very dry product up on the bank. You'll also notice that the bucket is tapered. It's wider at the front than it is at the rear. This creates a curve much like a saw blade, so that the bucket will pull easier, particularly through sticky or hard material. This view also shows as the bucket comes out of the water, some of the water and material will spill out of the front of it. Again, it's a natural process that occurs. It's what builds the ramp that comes out of the water, out of the trench. We have a front-end loader removing material off the left side of the ramp. As soon as he digs into that road that the bucket is dragging up, the bucket will skew into that area. If he prefers, he can dig off the other side, take material out of there for a while. The bucket will skew that direction, and he doesn't have to worry about it tipping over into him while he's digging out of the pile. This is a brief scene just showing the bucket coming out of the water. You can see that it has a bonus, extra material piled up in front of it, material pressed out the top, just a little bit of water coming out the back as it comes up the pile. It's on the ground, it starts spilling off the side where they've removed material. If we hadn't removed the material, it would have come all the way up over the front of the pile and started spilling at about the position it's at now.